to our 14th video where we're talking about sieging a castle. I did do one thing from our last video. I ran this guy back and forth across the way so that all of the units were fully healed. This is because when we assault the castle, these units will take a random amount of damage from the archers in the castle in which we're assaulting. Now, because we are assaulting the castle when the knight guy is gone, I think he's gone fishing or something, the castle is more vulnerable, but still, a castle is more difficult to take than just, you know, an army on ranting or wandering about randomly. So let's go and do this and see what it's like. So, as you see, when we did this, there was a random amount of damage done. This is somewhat based off the distance of the archer to each of these guys, as well as their their ranged defense. So if in this case I had the mystic in the first line as I had done in the other battles, he would have taken more damage. In addition, these two have fairly high initiative. Only my priest is going to be able to get to go before these two guys. So they're going to get one attack after another. And so if my hero was in front, regardless of what the priest did, my hero would die for sure. So in this way, I can at least stop my hero from taking complete damage. So just to show you how this works, the bowmen, which are more powerful than the archers, do 17 times 2. Now, if we didn't have the distance penalty on my my hero, he only has one range defense, so that means that would be 16 times 2 per bowman, which would be a total of 64 bits of damage. However, they take a 1/3, I believe, penalty, so that's roughly, I don't know, 22, so they take somewhere around 44 points of damage, or would do 44 damage, and he's 39. So if I don't buff him with the healer, or excuse me, the priest, then this guy will be the one attacked, because he has a range defense of 1, this guy has a range defense of 2, and so between the two they will definitely attack the hero, and the hero having 39 won't be quite enough to survive. However, I'm going to lose one of the two, because 39 is enough to kill my hunter. So regardless of what I do, I'm going to lose one of the two. I'd rather keep the hero just because I feel better about that. The archer's probably actually the more useful one. Anyway, as you'll see, my poor little archer is going to meet his end here. That's not the end of him, because I'll be able to heal him afterwards. Now, my hero can then go and start buffing guys. He's going to initially start, might as well buff himself, just so he's not quite so vulnerable of a target. These other guys have more armor, so they're not as vulnerable. Now, the next thing is that these guys and this... so this guy is these guys here are all have a spear, and spears have the ability that if you walk to them and attack, then the guy that you're attacking will get a counterattack. So you always want to force the guys with the spears to come walking to you so that they don't get in their extra low counterattack. Once they're standing beside you, they don't get that to happen. This actually even holds for peasants with pitchforks. So he's going to delay his attack, and he's going to delay his attack for that reason. So they're going to be able to get to go first, and they get to do their little bit of damage, but they don't get to do as much damage as they would do otherwise. So my healer women are going to focus on healing him, and I don't know, might as well focus on healing my hero so he has no chance of getting hurt. The mainly thing I'm worried about him is, well, now he has a lot of defense, but as soon as that defense goes away, then he's vulnerable, and that's only a few more turns. So depending on how quickly I can get rid of this bowman depends on how vulnerable he really is. These bowmans are definitely by far the biggest threat. So now we can focus on ganging up on these guys. Now, this guy is in a bit of a quandary, because when he walks over and he must attack a guy, he can postpone his turn, and it will only help him if if I can somehow use a combination of this guy, and this guy to kill off this middle one. If I can, then I believe he can walk over to this archer rather than this one, which is both equal distant, and then he can stop these archers from doing their thing. So we're going to try that strategy. So I'm going to try postponing. I'm going to attack my crossbowmen with this guy here, so that he won't be the closest one for him to attack. I'm going to attack him also with the spear guy, and I'm going to, okay, so that was enough to get rid of him. Now unfortunately, my knight must attack, and he must walk over here, and because he must walk over here, he will take an initial little jab before he gets attack. So the spear attack comes before your regular attack. But now this guy, because of the way I did it, he can now walk over here and start hammering on these bowmen. Now that the two bowmen are right next to him, they can retreat, but they're not going to be able to keep shooting my guys back here. Now it makes the most sense to use my priest to make one of my units stronger, and they'll do about the same amount, but he's the one that's closer to these guys, so I'm going to buff him a little bit. And see how he retreated. And now this guy did shoot him, but he had a, just like you have a distance penalty for the bowman being too far away, you also have a distance penalty if you're too close. Okay, so now we're almost done with this battle. He's going to go ahead and, I don't know, this is not the most useful spell, especially when you have a lot of things going on, which is why I like to have the Mystic up front. But I couldn't because of the way the siege works. Anyway, I guess I'll go and, I don't know, it doesn't really matter. I guess I'll buff him as maybe the most vulnerable. And then attack him, get rid of him. Nobody was really, and then the two bowmen just gave up. So that was it for this battle. It went pretty quickly, and now we can do a couple different things. First of all, we can heal everybody, and so this guy who was pretty much on his last time, he's now back to full health, and we can upgrade a few of our units, which we will do next time.